Hi there, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength. Today, I want to take you through a fun starfish-inspired workout to build a fabulously strong core. So for our workout today, you'll want an exercise mat or a towel and enough space to lay down on the floor and make a snow angel. And as always, don't forget to have some water handy. So we're going to lead off with an exercise called bird dog. So I'm going to come into an all fours position, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath my hips. I'm going to draw the belly in as I extend one arm and the opposite leg, and then slowly return them to the floor. So we're going to alternate sides. The reason I'm drawing my belly in before I lift the arm and the leg is to ensure my core stability. I should feel this not only in the lower abs, but also in the glutes. I want to make sure that I'm keeping my back flat throughout this exercise. So the shoulders are staying approximately level with one another and the hips are staying approximately level with one another. And I'm also trying to point the toe down towards the floor rather than out to the side so that I'm really engaging those muscles in the back of the leg. You should feel your back light up, your shoulders, your hamstrings, your glutes, and your calves. This is really a stretch and a strength move. If you're ready, we're going to move on to the advanced version of this exercise that looks a lot more like a starfish. So again, I'm going to line up wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. I'm going to draw my belly in and do that extension with the arm and leg. And this time I'm going to reach out to the side, come back to the center, and then slowly set that side down. Remember to draw the belly in first. It's going to be a lot more difficult for me to keep my hips level. And I will put in an example here of my right hip raising up because that is my tighter side. So think almost about skimming your toes against the floor as you extend the leg and then keeping it at that level as you do that half jumping jack out to the side, bring it back in, and then try to set down with control. This is guaranteed a lot more difficult than it looks. So if you need to go back to the version we were just doing, go ahead and do that with the straight lifts. But you should really feel this in the obliques. You're going to feel that booty burn. You're going to get that core strength that you're looking for. So give yourself one or two more controlled reps. Just really think about drawing the belly in, squeezing the lower abs and the glutes together. Awesome job. Let's move on to our next exercise. So next, I'm going to lay all the way down on my side. I'm going to try to stack my joints. So shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles are all directly on top of one another. I'm going to draw my belly in as I lift one of my legs and lower back down towards the floor. So I'm making sure that I don't have my hip rolled back. That will ensure that I really feel this in the glutes, in the lower abs. My toes should be facing straight forward in the same direction as my hips and chest. And that will ensure that I'm really feeling all of this work in the inside and outside of the hips and thighs. So your booty, your lower abs should really be on fire all throughout this exercise. Now, if you're ready for it, we're going to take this to an advanced version. I'm going to come into a side plank on my knee and straighten the top leg. When I'm in side plank, I really want to think about pulling the shoulder down, squeezing that whole oblique area like I'm pulling the elbow towards the hip, hip towards the elbow. So once you've got that feeling, so drawing my belly in and squeezing my glutes is going to help me control these side leg raises. And these do not have to be rocket kicks. I know I'm trying to make this look easy in this range of motion, but trust me, it is not. So just do the best that you can. And you can do some of both. You can do some in the side plank position and then bring yourself back down and do some side leg lifts. Guaranteed, if you just did the more advanced version, you're really going to be feeling this in your abs and your booty. All right, try one or two more, whichever version you're most comfortable with. And then we're going to turn over and do this on the other side. So coming into my second side, I'm going to first do those side leg raises without the plank. So stacking the joints, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles with the toes facing forward. I'm drawing the belly in and squeezing the glutes as I lift and lower the leg. I'm trying my best to keep both legs straight and trying to keep that hip front rolling back so I'm not overtaxing the front of the hip. I can really feel this in the glutes, and even the back is getting a workout in this if you can't feel it. So give yourself a couple more reps like that, and then when you're ready, we're going to try that side plank version. So remembering to really pull the shoulder down, think about that crunch between the elbow and the hip as I push up, and then starting to do those controlled leg lifts just to the best of your ability. You might notice that this is far easier on one side than the other. And that's very normal. So we're just going to do the best we can to find that equilibrium. So drawing the belly in, squeezing the glutes as I lift and lower, continuing to really work the obliques in that side plank. Always remember that you can come back down and just do the side leg lift. Keep it going, remembering all those elements of form we just learned. Great work. Now feel free to grab some water if you need some. We're going to do one last exercise. We're going to come all the way down onto our back and we're going to do a starfish sit-up. We're going to do the single leg version first. I'm going to bring myself into an X position and place one of my feet on the floor, kind of close to my hips like it's in a glute bridge position. And then I'm going to take that straight leg and the opposite arm and reach them up towards one another. Now to do that, I really need to draw my belly in, really use that core strength. So if you start feeling something unkind in your lower back, let yourself come out of this and reset for a moment and just don't lower the leg quite as far as I'm lowering it. If you are diligent with this, you will notice that you build the core strength to really keep that flat back position as you're lowering the leg. All right, great work. Let's try this on the other side. So I'm going to switch out the leg position, and then I can use my leg strength in the foot that's on the floor. Pushing into that foot is actually going to help me lift that other leg off the floor. And again, I'm trying to keep pretty straight legs for this so that, I'm really maximizing my resistance here. But if you need to, you could always bend to the knee on the leg that you're raising, and then that will give you less resistance, and you might find that that's a little bit easier for you. So remembering not to lower the heel any further than I can control my back staying on the floor. Drawing the abs in as I do those raises. All right, so I'm going to show you one other version of this before we get to our full version. My second option would be to come into a complete X position, and then I'm still going to do this on one side. So this is definitely a little bit harder than the version that we just did because I can't really push into the foot that's on the floor in the same way. Although you can push into the heel. But I am giving myself a little more stability before we get to that alternating version. So this might be a good way for you to kind of work up to that full version. So drawing the belly in as I'm reaching the leg up towards the ceiling and the arm up towards the foot, and they do not have to touch. So let yourself try switching to the other side. The other thing I want to point out in this is that a lot of people will kind of do that crunch with the neck, where you kind of scrunch. We want to make sure that we keep the head on the floor so that this is a powerful ab exercise and not a neck abuser. This is really about that whole body crunch. As you become stronger and more flexible and build that mobility, you will notice that your hand and your foot get a little closer to one another. We have different length limbs and torsos, so that's not really the objective, but it can just be a measurement of your strength and flexibility. We're going to do the full version of this exercise. So we're going to come into that X position, and we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to alternate sides. So drawing the belly in, I'm going to lift that leg and reach the arm and control back down. And then we're going to do this on the other side. So I am setting the foot down on the floor, which is a little bit different than the constant resistance we were keeping on that one side. But I do want to make sure that once I get to this version, I'm not rounding the back to do that. So again, if you need to bend the knee a little bit, that's a good modification. Keeping that leg that's on the floor just slightly bent to keep the lower back flat. The other thing I want to point out in this is that a lot of people will kind of do that crunch with the neck, where you kind of scrunch. We want to make sure that we keep the head on the floor so that this is a powerful ab exercise and not a neck abuser. And then always remember, you can go back to that modified version, either of the versions that we went through at any point that you need to. If you can, let yourself try 1 or 2 more reps. Great work. All right, so let's just briefly do a spinal twist. So I'm going to reach the arms out to my sides like I'm making the letter T. I'm going to keep the shoulders on the ground as I twist the bent knee across the straight leg. And I should start to get a stretch in that top hip, into the obliques that we just worked very hard, maybe into the lower back, and then also across the chest and into the arms. And then slowly let yourself switch out the leg position. Keep the shoulders on the ground and then twist the other knee across. This might be easier to twist in one direction versus the other. If you wanted to, you could take one of your hands and put it on that top thigh to help yourself twist a little bit further. Definitely don't do that if it's pushing beyond that 7 or 8 out of 10 stretch feeling. And then let yourself just kind of breathe into it. This should feel really good. All right, you made it through this whole workout. Awesome job. Thanks so much for making time to exercise with me today. I hope you feel strong and better set up going into everything else you have planned in your week. If you're looking for more exercise tips, workouts, healthy recipes, and other healthy living tips, please check out the rest of my YouTube channel. And if you need some one-on-one support putting together your exercise program and nutrition plan, please reach out to me in the link in the description. In the meantime, I look forward to continuing this journey with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Can you say, "Seize your inner star"? Good boy. Why are you so dirty? Do you have an encouraging message? Reach for the stars. How appropriate. Good job, bud. Thank you.